all face challenges, big or small, day after day, week after week, and year after year. So today, I'm going to share with you my secret weapon to overcome my challenges. That's the power of belief. So let me first share with you this picture and ask you, who in this picture looks cute? Is that the art teacher, the owner of a clothing store, the American Sephora, the domestic Sephora, the super salesman, the owner of nursing homes, the famous illustrators, or the successful businessman? They are from all different kinds of fields in our society. And the reason why they are gathering here and having this picture taken was simply because 45 years ago, they were all in this picture. This is a graduation ceremony for a kindergarten. So let me pose another question. Who in this picture do you think doesn't look cute? They all look very cute, not because of their cutie face. That's simply because of the infinite possibilities and potentials in their mind. So can you tell that the one in the middle, 45 years later, became a cosmologist who is talking to you right now? You couldn't, because we couldn't judge on people by their appearance, because everything is in their mind. The power of belief is in their mind. The power of collapsing is also in their mind. So along the way, we need to learn to enhance the power of belief and try to abandon the power of collapsing. So when I was very young, I was very interested in science, but I failed an IQ test at the age of 12. So in order to prove that I'm not stupid, I decided to prove there are aliens on the moon. So I spent some time making two telescopes by myself and try to hunt for the aliens on the surface of the moon. And of course, I didn't find any. However, years later, when I was 14 years old, I used these two telescopes to have captured the image of a comet Halley. And I was so excited that I feel kind of closer to becoming a good scientist. And at about the same time, I was so much fascinated by the Stephen Hawking's book, A Brief History of Time. So at the time, at the age of 14 years old, my dream of my life was to become a scientist, a great scientist someday. But as you know, to become a great scientist, you need to have a clever brain. You need to have a good IQ. So here is my IQ curve. As I told you earlier, I failed my IQ test at the age of about 12. But I didn't give up. When I entered my junior high school, I worked very hard, and eventually I come to the top of the school and got the first place in my academic year. But after I became a senior high school student, I participated in too many student clubs, perhaps like many of you did, spending too little time for my study. So my academic performance in the school was not good. So I started questioning myself, am I having the chance to become a scientist? That's my dream. But actually, I didn't perform well in the school for almost 2 years. But I didn't give up. I worked very hard in my final year. So in my final year, I won 2 national titles. I won the first place in the national competition for both mathematics and physics. And that time, I thought I would have a privilege to enter a science department of my choice. But I was told that I need to pass an IQ test first. As you know, I failed the IQ test again. So again, I start questioning myself. Am I just a hardworking student, or am I a clever student who can potentially become a scientist? I don't know, but I didn't give up. I continued to work hard, and eventually I became a physics student in the best university in Taiwan, the National Taiwan University. But after I entered the university, I didn't work too hard for my study because I spent too much time participating in the student movement. So my academic performance during my college years was kind of terrible. Again, I didn't give up. Even I spent 2 years in Navy for the mandatory military service in Taiwan. At the age of 26, I became a student of Stephen Hawking's research group under the supervision of Professor Paul Shillard. So that's really like a dream coming true. So for your dream to come true, first, you need to have a dream. So you always need to ask yourself, what's your dream? Do you really have a dream? If you don't have a dream, then come true, no? And then you need to be persistent along the way. Even though you may be lazy, like I was from time to time, but you always need to find yourself back at the critical moments. As long as you keep yourself on the right track at the critical time and believe in yourself, then your chance of getting succeeded will be very high. And finally, there's something very often overlooked by the young generation. That's to learn how to survive, to get along with other people in the community, in the society, especially to learn from the elders, because the elders, they can guide us, they can help us to make our dream come true. So years after that, I spent some time in the States at Berkeley and NASA. And in the year of 2001, I came back to Taiwan and later on became the project scientist of Amoeba. That's a cosmological telescope to detect the signals from the early universe. And the part of my research now is to search for the parent universe. So every time when I share with my friends about what I'm doing now, about my research, I always feel very guilty. Why? Because I burn a lot of money from the taxpayers, and I always ask myself, what have I done so far in return to my community? This is always a very challenging question for any cosmologist. So to make myself feel better, starting about 20 years ago, I conducted many national science camps to teach not only the young generation, but the general public aged from 6 to 80 to make their own telescope by using the plastic water pipe, the PVC water pipe. So in the past 2 decades, we have built at least 6,000 telescopes, homemade telescope through the science camp that I conduct. And I want to get back to the community to make myself feel better, to make myself feel useful for my people. And on the other hand, hoping that the young people involved in this science camp are somewhat useful for some future, because in that cases, I actually see myself from the past. So in our society, we very often classify the people into 2 extreme categories. One is the losers, the other is the winners. On the left-hand side, that's me. On the right-hand side, that's me too. So whenever I'm at the bottom of the valley, I always give myself at least 5 years to climb from the bottom to the top of the mountain. And the secret weapon I used was simply the psychokinesis. That's the power of faking, or in my own words, that's power of belief. So when we say faking, normally faking comes with kind of a negative meaning in that. But there is a famous social psychologist saying that don't fake it and expect yourself to make it. You should fake it until you become it. So the difference in between is a very thin line. That means that you won't succeed by simply dreaming that you will succeed. But you will succeed. If you keep dreaming, you will succeed, and also make efforts at a critical moment and believe in yourself. Then your dream will eventually come true.
The following video of the universe is not a computer simulation. It's a seemingly virtual but real space where I present the universe that has been observed by the astronomers over the past decades. First of all, we start a journey from our familiar Taipei and gradually move away from the Earth. We first see our Taiwan surrounded by the sea. Moving further, we see the Earth in a round shape, and the blue crosses are the exoplanets the planets outside our solar system. These crosshairs are the locations where we human beings may emigrate when the Earth becomes uninhabitable one day. Moving further away, we will see the solar planets revolving around the Sun. The outermost ring is the Kuiper belt that's the home to the sphere, the Oort cloud. The few bright spots just below it are the star system in the movie Avatar. They do exist and are actually the closest star system to our solar system, the Alpha Centauri. It's about 4.3 light years away from us. When we go further back, we see the Greek gods. All the constellations are actually our neighbors, living around us on a very small spiral arm in the Milky Way, the Orion spiral arm. Going back a bit further, we'll see the full picture of the Milky Way. The 2020 Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to the scientists who studied the supermassive black hole at the center of our own galaxy. The sphere we are seeing now is a dark matter surrounding our galaxy. Going backwards further, each of the bright spots we see now is not a star, but a galaxy. Each galaxy normally contains at least 10 billion stars, and what we are seeing now are all the galaxies that have been observed by the astronomers so far. There are millions of them in total. Therefore, the total number of stars in the universe we've observed is about 1 million times 10 billions. That's a number with at least 16 zeros after the number 1. Going back further, we see the cosmic microwave background discovered and studied by Nobel Prize winners in 1978 and 2006. That's the first light coming from the beginning of our spacetime, the Big Bang. In the following seconds, you can imagine yourself as the first light from the Big Bang, traveling through the universe, spending about 14 billion years to reach the Milky Way, and then slowly approach the spiral arm of Orion, passing through the Greek gods, entering the Oort cloud of the solar system, and finally see the Sun, enter the Earth. In the end, if you are lucky, you may die on a human's telescope, because basically the telescopes are designed to capture the ancient light from the outer space. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I watch this video over and over again. You may ask, Professor, why are you so bored watching the video made by yourself? In fact, watching this video is simply to remind myself how big and how old the universe is, so that we must understand everyone here, including myself, is nothing but a negligible lump of protein in the universe, and some of you are actually more like a lump of fat. No matter it's protein or fat, we are just a small lump in the universe, so we don't need to be bothered too much by the bad things in our lives. This doesn't mean that you should not be angry or sad for things, because if you don't have those emotions, you are not human at all. What I mean here is that as human beings, we all have inevitable negative. When these emotions come, we have to remind ourselves that we are just a small lump in the universe, so it's not worthy keeping these negative energies in our bodies for too long. The universe is so vast that, as long as you want to, you can always release these negative energies into the cosmos through self-training. This process requires a lot of courage and the awareness of our roles in the cosmos. It's challenging, but definitely feasible.
So, in summary, here are two versions of myself, the younger one and the older one. The younger one actually carry a lot of dreams, a lot of potential, but along the way, this kind of dreams can be easily challenged by the school performance, your academic grades in the school, and could be distorted by the elders' expectation, your parents' expectation, and sometimes it could be obscured by the life experience, or obscured, or even worse, distorted by the social values, because someone reckon you as a loser, as what I experienced when I was very young. And when you start working in the community, you have to face the burden in your daily life. So to make your dream come true, first, you have to find your potential, your dream, in the past version of yours. Take the courage to dismiss all these bindings, and then try to employ the determination to attain the infinite possibilities in future. So if you continue to enhance the power of belief, I'm sure you will become whoever you want to be. Thank you.